This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net. It is time for One in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Hi. Thank you for that great introduction, Karen Hale. How are you doing today?
I'm here.
Good. I just, for those, welcome everyone to our podcast, What in the World, with me, Paul Seaburn, and Karen Hale, our media mogul and producer and co-host at newclevelandradio.net, where there's all kind of great podcasts. We'll mention that again later. John DiNallo, our other co-host and host of What in the World of Weird Sports. I'm having brain farts over here. I was just thinking, I forget sometimes that we're on YouTube, and I'm scratching myself before the show, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is going to be on YouTube. Good. It's a good thing we can edit all this stuff out, right, Karen?
No, we can't. No.
Oh, yeah. What are you going to do?
Okay, well, we don't want to start the show with any kind of scratching or anything like that. But welcome everybody again to What in the World. It's Tuesday. We're getting close to the end of February. It has been raining. It's been raining all day here in Northeast Ohio, which is good to melt the snow and apparently to water the plants and all the other things that need that sort of nourishment. I saw a funny meme. Someone said the weather in Cleveland is like lottery numbers. You know, one day 63, the next day 13, the next day 24, the next day 48. And that's exactly what it is. But I'm sure there's a lot of places like that. So we do not have a lock on strange weather. What we do have a lock on is What in the World. And the top, everybody's favorite weird news show, weird news podcast. Our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. And that's what we like to do here. We spend an hour with you talking about none of the bad stuff that you hear on all your other media sources. We're not talking about politics or religion or any kind of medical issues or any of that kind of stuff. We're here to talk about weird things that you don't normally hear on mainstream media. Stuff from around the world, sometimes from outer space. We talk about aliens. We talk about Bigfoot. In fact, John, we will be talking a little bit about Bigfoot today, so be ready for that.
I'm always interested in hearing about Bigfoot. You know, because Bigfoot is so prevalent. He is so prevalent.
Oh, wait, you Bigfoot is on the move. Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. Bigfoot is everywhere. Bigfoot has a great public relations person, and it gets him into all the commercials and movies, and we need somebody like that. We need Bigfoot's PR person. So anyway, so what exactly are we going to be talking about today? Let's get right to it. The giant strawberries. This is my favorite story. This is a double whammy story. We've got some giant strawberries in Israel, and then giant strawberry burgers in Japan.
Wow.
You heard that right, John. Giant strawberry burgers.
Never heard of that. Never heard of such a thing.
You would stick around, and you will. You may want to never hear it again after we talk about it.
Okay.
A meteor. This is a strange story, and a meteor hit a doghouse in Costa Rica, and it's actually a good story. So we're going to hear about that. There's extraterrestrials in Washington. We're going to hear about that. Strange giant stick insects in England, of all places. So there's some weird things going on with stick insects there. Lots and lots of world records for you this week, John. A little bit of trivia, strange sports. We've got John's got a great, very topical sports story for us. And before we go, we always play Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news show. So without further ado, or both, a do. Let's get right to let's get right to it. Let's see, what does Bigfoot have to say?
Oh my!
Oh, he sounds like he's sick today. Hopefully, he's okay.
He's fine. He's fine. He is fine. I wore his shirt. There, I've got my Bigfoot shirt on.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
He's complaining that I don't wear it well, I guess. Maybe that's it. So let's get right to
He should ease up a little bit. He should ease up.
you wear it well. Who sang that song? Oh, that was Rod Stewart.
Right.
By the way, the lead singer of Procol Harum passed away today. I just
I saw that.
saw that
Yeah.
on the news. Yeah, the Whiter Shade of Pale and Conquistador.
Right. Those are very popular songs when we were younger. Let's put it that way.
1967, Whiter Shade of Pale came
Right.
out.
Right.
And a friend of mine in Texas, David, neighbor, and he's a cartoonist, and we got to be really good friends. Through him, I met John, for you, Bill Hines, the Tank McNamara cartoonist, who was also a neighbor, which I didn't even know. He lived right on the other side of the street.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he sent me a wonderful video of Procol Harum playing with the Danish Philharmonic, playing Whiter Shade of Pale at an outdoor venue like Blossom Music Center in. So Google that, everybody out there, if you want to hear a wonderful version of Procol Harum's Whiter Shade of Pale in honor of, and I wish I could remember his name now, the lead singer. Just beautiful. Like, it was almost 11 minutes long, so it's really an enjoyable thing. So anyways, let's get right to some news here. Oh, let's get right to the strawberries. Excuse me. So this story comes from Israel. Didn't know Israel was a big haven for strawberries. Did you know that, Karen?
I did not know
Did
that.
not know. Karen's our designated Jewish question answerer.
Yeah.
Go figure. Anything on latkes or chicken soup, we ask him.
I've been eating a lot of chicken soup lately. Yes.
Have you? Good for you. Yeah. Well, it can't hurt, right?
Right.
Isn't that what that? I don't know what the Jewish word for that is, but it can't hurt. Is there
It's Jewish penicillin.
Jewish?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Okay. Anyway, so this guy, Ariel Shaw is his name, owner of Strawberries in the Field. Good name for a business. He set a new world record for the world's heaviest strawberry. His giant strawberry weighed in at 10.2 ounces. That's like 2/3 of a pound. So, a container of strawberries at the grocery store is only 8 ounces. So we're looking at a strawberry that's bigger, one strawberry bigger than an entire container of strawberries. Yeah. He set a second record when the shortcake he tried to serve it on rolled away at like 65 miles an hour. Yeah, you're not putting that on me. Can you imagine? Karen, last week we were talking about dipping strawberries in chocolate for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Can you imagine dipping a 2/3 of a pound strawberry? How much chocolate would you need? And really, you'd have to keep dipping it and dipping. It would turn into an exercise. You build up biceps.
Well, you wouldn't gain any weight.
You wouldn't gain any weight. So there's a benefit. That's right.
Yeah.
There's a benefit.
I have a question. I have a question. How big is the plate that you put it on?
It's 7 inches wide. That's how wide it was. It's a very odd looking strawberry. Yeah. There you go. Bigger than a softball, but very, very unusual looking. Not your pretty little heart-shaped strawberries that like to have dipped. It was a mutant, as we say in the business. What business is that? Anyways, so it meant, in fact, that was what I was going to say. Actually, they said the way this strawberry formed was that multiple strawberries actually fused together while they were growing in a slow growing season. It took 45 days. And because of climate change, the temperature is lower in Israel during strawberry growing season last season. And so these strawberries merged together into one, which the Guinness people apparently didn't care. It looked like one strawberry. They gave him the world record for the world's largest strawberry. By the way, John, I don't know if you remember, I think we saw Strawberry Fusion open for the raspberries in the 80s.
Yes. Well, Paul, and we did see the raspberries at the Utopia nightclub. That was the place.
Utopia nightclub? Where was that?
It was in Willoughby Hills. We're we're going way back in time.
Boy,
And
no kidding.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, so but yeah, that was, and I was telling somebody that the other day about Eric Carmen.
Aaron Carmen, yeah, that's Cleveland. Good Cleveland guy. Good singer.
Yeah, I'm going to say freshman year. I'm going to say freshman year at JCU, which would have made it
Freshman or sophomore year. It might have been, but you could be right. You could be right. It could have been like second semester.
But we saw them a couple times. I remember we went up there.
Well, I know we saw him at least once. I remember.
Yeah.
I thought we saw him at the Agora. I apologize to everybody listening to the podcast.
Yes, right. You don't know what we're talking about.
We're on a trip down memory lane here.
Yeah, we really want to know, what concerts you went to. And yeah.
What did John and Paul do in college? That's the subject this week.
Sorry about that.
Well, Strawberry Fusion, by the way, that other band, they were formed when Strawberry Alarm Clock went digital. We'll let that one go.
Yeah,
okay, John.
I knew you were going with that one. I knew you were going somewhere.
The Strawberry Alarm Clock, since I brought it up and it's time for some trivia, what was their big hit?
Incense and Peppermint.
Incense and Peppermint. Very good. Yeah, the chorus, I looked it up because I knew it had some very strange lyrics to it. The chorus was, who cares what games we choose? Little to win, but nothing to lose. That now
thought-provoking at that time.
The 60s. That's right. You got to remember that was the 60s. That was probably same 1966, somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah. So deep stuff, probably written while under the influence of strawberries.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Here's another food. I got a lot of food stories here, so I want to get to them. The Idaho Potato Commission. This is for you, Karen. Created a perfume, which it's called Frites by Idaho. Frites, Frites, and it's made from distilled Idaho potatoes and essential oils that make the wearer smell like a hot odor of French fries.
Oh, yuck.
Yes.
Oh.
Believe it or not. There's a bordello in Nevada that buys this stuff by the case, and they put it on all the clients, and they're changing the name to the Fried Chicken Ranch.
Get the horn. Get the horn.
Where's the horn? I have to see. Did Bigfoot like that one? Bigfoot wasn't a fan of that one. You can tell that this is quality perfume. It's sold for $1.89 per 1.7 ounce bottle. Oh so this is good stuff, and made from, by the way, distilled Idaho potatoes and essential oils, which I believe is also the recipe for vodka.
I was going to say that. Yeah, vodka's from potatoes.
They were probably knocking back those little 1.7 ounces there. Believe it or not, it smells like food. Now, Karen, given the opportunity to wear a perfume that smelled like food, what food would you pick? And maybe John, you'd be thinking about
maybe strawberries or peaches.
Strawberries. What was the other one?
Peaches.
Oh, that's a good scent right there. Oranges might be a good one too, on the subject of food. John, how about you? If when your lovely wife came home smelling like food, what?
How about apples?
Apples is another good one. Yeah. I thought chocolate chip cookies because I like the smell of chocolate.
You're getting two flavors there.
There you go. So whenever I start thinking, I don't perfume and cologne wearing is not something that's as prevalent as it was 30, 40 years ago.
Sure.
And I can remember, it's been a long time since I wore any of that kind of stuff. Male cologne. Worst smelling fragrances in the world sometimes were male cologne. So John, I know that the two of us as teenage boys and young men, we wore male cologne to hide the smell of the fact that we were teenage boys. There were some good ones. And see if you can remember some of these names. English leather.
I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
British sterling. That was always one you asked for Christmas.
Yep.
British
I remember
sterling. British sterling always had an attractive young lady selling on TV. Now,
A number of them. You're right. You're right. It was a way to sell to young men.
Well, yeah, a young man at one time, but yeah,
You want to smell like whatever she's interested in.
that's right.
And then Brut by Fabergé.
Yep.
That was the first French word that we learned, Fabergé. Now,
Right.
but the stinky stuff that you didn't want to get, there was Old Spice.
That was your dad's. That was like my dad. My dad had Old
Yeah.
Spice. Okay, my dad had Old Spice.
Believe it or not, you can still buy Old Spice.
Right.
One you can't buy, and I know you wore this, John, High Karate.
I was just going to say that because the commercial for High Karate, do you remember, was the Japanese fellow that was like doing karate? I mean, I can still visualize the commercial on TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really popular. It was.
It would never be on TV now. Too ethnically.
Oh, definitely.
And
But,
rightly so. Rightly so. And then
And
finally, and this is another one that fits in your other category, John, Aqua Velva. There's something about an Aqua Velva
Velva
man.
Man.
It was. Is it a weird shaped bottle? It was blue.
Yep.
It was
Huge, yeah. Oh, you could use it for a flask. It was massive.
Right. Oh, yeah, sure.
But they never told you what the something about an Aqua Velva man was. I think the something was they stunk.
It is. That is so funny. That's funny.
You could smell them a mile away. It's like
sure.
wearing a bell around your neck. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, speaking of, no, this had nothing to do with bells. So, I got another world record for you. This one comes from Fairview, Oregon. The city of Fairview, Oregon, got a Guinness World Record last week for the tallest fork in the world. They installed a fork at a shopping mall. It's 37 feet tall. Looks just
Why?
like
What does a fork have to do?
Good question, Karen. Good question.
Thank you.
It's in the center of a food cart pod, is what they call it, a food cart pod, which doesn't make sense because the only thing you buy at food carts is stuff that you eat with your hands. So, like tacos and burgers and things like that. Why do you need a fork to attract people to a food cart pod?
I don't know.
But anyways, it took the city council a while to approve this giant fork because they didn't know which side of the road you put the fork on. And the fork is actually 40 feet tall, not 37, but they had to sink it 3 feet into the ground to anchor it, which is like, to me, that gives me the picture of it falling from the sky, like it was an alien fork and it landed there and embedded itself 3 feet into the ground. Or the Jolly Green Giant is walking through Fairview, Oregon, and says, "This is where we make peas," and he jams the fork into the ground and be a great story to tell. That's how the fork got
Yes, it would be.
there. So anyways, 2.5 ton fork. So John, I know Karen knows the answer to this. I'm going to ask you, what side of the plate does the fork go on? Since we're talking about forks.
I know at home, I misplace it. I know I misplace it.
Pretend like you're eating, yeah.
No, seriously. So let me get this right. The fork is on the right.
Nope.
Wrong.
Oh man, fork's on the left side.
Well, you know what then? I'm in the clear then, because every time I set the table, and that's always asking me, she goes, you have that right? I said, I'm not really sure. Because everyone in our household is right-handed, okay?
Sure, that's right. The fork is on the wrong side for right-handed people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to the left-handed people discussion a couple of weeks ago.
That's true. That's true.
The discussion about the left-handed, and also, and I'll give you a little bit of Latin root on that. Sinister or sinister is left in Latin.
That's right. That's right. Very good. Oh, that's a good trivia there. It's they were afraid that left-handed people were possessed by the devil. So and we have a story about being possessed by the devil coming up. So I want to get to that. Good lead in, John. But I have a couple more for you. These are oddballs, Karen. You can play along here.
Okay.
The fish knife. Where does the fish knife go? Right or left?
The fish knife?
Yeah. If you're going to scale some fish at dinner, while you're waiting for the next course.
I thought all knives and forks went to the left and all spoons went to the right.
And
Really?
fish knife goes next to the dinner knife on the right-hand side.
Oh.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
The dinner
Yeah.
knife isn't on the right side.
Yes, it is. The fork's on the left, the knife is on the right. Knife and a spoon are on the right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
The seafood fork is on the right. Next, but where's the butter knife?
It's on the butter dish.
On the butter dish, that's right.
I was going to say the butter dish.
There you go, which is on the
Can't
left
go wrong
hand
with
side.
that. Can't go wrong with that one.
And so where does the napkin go, John?
Underneath the fork.
No, it goes in your collar.
Oh, we go
Underneath the fork. You're exactly right.
Time, Paul. We go.
And where does the fork go again? While I look at which side is the fork on?
Left.
Left. Okay. How about the spork?
I know what the spork is. And I would think, in the interest of neutrality, that's not the right word. I would put it at the top of the plate. You know, here you have
Good idea.
put it at the top. It's at the top. It's neither left nor right.
That's right. That's
You know
right. There was a time.
And do you know the
There was a
spork?
few months when I lived by myself. My
Right.
utensils were a spork and a letter opener.
There you
So,
go. And I think the spork was invented in Switzerland, which has always been a neutral country.
oh, very good.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Look that one
Well,
up.
speaking of neutral countries, we'll go to Japan next. Okay, and this is our Bigfoot story here, John. The hot new sandwich at Japanese Burger Kings, okay, part of the chain, is the King Yeti. Now, the Yeti, we all know, people who listen to our show, the Yeti is the Himalayan Bigfoot. So that's part of China, that area. So they call it the King Yeti. Get ready for this: 4 quarter-pound beef patties, 6 slices of Gouda cheese, onion slices, pickles, and Caesar sauce. That's the King Yeti, plus 2 buns, a bun on the top and the bottom. Once you've finished eating a King Yeti, you're ready to put on your Bigfoot big pants, your Sasquatch sweatshirt, and your abominable abdominal pains.
That's a
Whoa.
Can you imagine 4
Wow.
quarter-pound burgers, 6 slices? Now, I thought this was interesting. Gouda cheese. Have you ever seen Gouda cheese sliced? I'm sure it's good on a burger, but
Well, we like to have it cubed. We like to have Gouda cheese.
cubed. How does that stay on the burger? That's what I want to know.
Well, you know what? That's the first I've ever heard of it. Never even thought to put Gouda cheese on a
Slice it.
burger.
The only
Just
way
have
I've ever seen it is in that wax ball.
right
Yeah.
with the red paper. And
Yeah. Which
sure.
I think a giant ball of cheese on a burger might be interesting.
Oh my God.
Now that's a Yeti burger with a giant ball of Gouda cheese on it,
I
and
think
then Caesar sauce. Caesar's. What is Caesar sauce? Is this?
like Caesar salad sauce? I mean, Caesar
I
salad.
guess so. I don't.
Caesar sauce in Japan?
Yeah, in Japan at the Japanese Burger King. Yeah, I ate Caesar sauce once. It gave me a stabbing pain in my back.
Oh.
Did you eat it on the 15th of March?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's when I ate it. That's exactly right. So here's another one. Here's another the strange burger stories from Japan. Okay, this one comes from the Lucky Rocky Chicken Company, chicken restaurant in Tokyo. They specialize in buttermilk fried chicken, which sounds really good. Okay, but they're special this week, and it's selling. They can't make enough of them. The strawberry and cream burger, which is a piece of fried chicken, sweet strawberry sauce, and buttermilk cream poured over it on a bun.
Not for me, thank you.
This sounds like what we used to eat when the power went out and you couldn't see what was in the refrigerator, but you knew you had to eat everything before it went bad. Yeah.
Sure.
Strawberry sauce on it. This is like something that you get at Dairy Queen. I always thought you would get at Dairy Queen.
Right, sure.
A burger with, a hot fudge burger.
Oof.
Oh, boy.
Strawberries on a burger. Now I put this on my Facebook page. I want to mention that to listeners that I do have a Facebook page. You're more than, and in fact, we welcome you to look me up. I put some of these jokes out there. and stories and occasionally some pictures as well. I put this one out there, and my niece's husband, Dave, said that it reminded him. He says, that's not so strange. That's like the burger on a glazed donut. Now, I have heard of that. Have you heard of that?
They make them in New York.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make them in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a burger on a glazed donut has a name. It's called the Luther burger, and it was invented, but it may be popular in New York, Karen. It was invented in Decatur, Georgia, at a pub called Mulligan's. It's a bacon, the bacon cheeseburger on a Krispy Kreme donut, a glazed donut, which are very good glazed donuts, by the way. And it was named after the singer Luther Vandross. So he must have either been from Decatur or ate a lot of them or gave him the idea.
Well, I guess that would be a combination. It's like you're having the burger and you're having the donut. So you're having your entree, for lack of a better word.
Or your cake and eat it too.
Oh, no. There you go. All right, good. Well, let's move on from that one. Okay, this story, there's a world record for you. This guy, his name is Brendan Kelby from Australia. A food world record, which I thought was interesting. He set a Guinness World, and we've talked about this before. He set a Guinness World Record when he stacked 6 plain M&Ms in a stack, one on top of the other, and the stack had to stand for at least 10 seconds before falling over. 6 plain M&Ms, one on top of the other, and he managed to do it. Now, you may be impressed by that, but doing stuff like that is what got kicked him out of he got him kicked out of pharmacy school, stacking pills and that sort of thing. I mean, but I was thinking, oh, maybe I could try doing this. I did it 2 or 3 times and I ate the rest of the bag. It's A, watching them fall over is depressing, and B, they're M&Ms. What else are you're supposed to eat them?
That's right. Exactly. You're not going to watch them. You eat them. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. So so I looked up some other weird stacking records. This one, John, this is one I want you to try. This is an Ohio record. Dave Athey from Bridgeport, Ohio, 1998, stacked 9 golf balls in a stack without using anything else but his fingers on a flat surface. 9 golf balls stacked one on top of the other. That's impressive.
That is impressive.
M&Ms. Largest stack of cans, 36. So this was also an Australian record. And they noted that they used only creamed corn, which I don't know if that helped or hurt. Largest stack of tortillas, I think we mentioned this once, was 32 inches, which is less than 3 feet. I would have thought you could stack tortillas far higher than that. That was a Los Angeles record, and that was 392 tortillas, if you want to know how much a yard of tortillas is. You would think that if you can stack tortillas that high, you ought to be able to stack pancakes that high. But the largest stack of pancakes, actually, the largest stack of pancakes is higher. It's 3 feet 4 inches, but less pancakes, 213 pancakes. And then my favorite, because this poor guy is not married. The most eggs stacked was 4, achieved by a guy, I'm not going to try and mention his name, in Istanbul, Turkey. So he stacked 4 raw eggs without them falling over. How many eggs did he stack and break before he got to that? That's the record that I want to know.
Oh, yeah. That's another one, I gather.
How many? I wonder if he likes scrambled eggs.
Oh, he would.
Probably not. Okay, so fruit flies. I thought this was interesting. This is a research study out of San Diego, University of California, San Diego. Researchers are studying fruit flies. They love fruit flies. Fruit flies are apparently the easiest thing to study, and their brains are most like most humans. So they found that, but maybe not, because in this study they found that fruit flies have a more advanced cognitive ability than previously believed. And the way they tested this, they used custom-built, immersive virtual reality systems. So they put them in these beautiful VR system, and they determine that flies can pay attention, they have working memory, and they have conscious awareness-like capabilities. So my first question is, what did they have the fruit flies looking at in virtual reality? I mean, what do fruit flies look at? They look at a bowl of grapes. They look at, right? A bunch of bananas. Where else have you seen fruit flies? That's pretty much it.
Right.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me is that fruit flies have a much better VR system than I do. If the scientists provided it to them, but so I'm thinking, well, what if it were regular flies? What would regular flies want to watch on virtual reality? And my answer to that was, of course, the show Diners, Drive-Ins. Flies would want to watch Mr. Ed, which is the only horse show I could think of. So I'm really showing my age, because I'm sure there was a later horse show that I could have used as my example.
My Friend Flicka.
Oh, that's a good one, Karen.
Sure.
I was going to use Bonanza, but that one's not really too current either, or Gunsmoke. So we definitely,
those are
we're showing our age.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get out of let's see. I went out of food for a while. I like to talk about the International Space Station. I think that's one of the coolest things. And plus, in these days of world tension, it's one place where people from various countries that don't necessarily agree on the ground work together in space. So that's why one of the reasons why I like it. So unfortunately, NASA says that they're going to crash the they're going to get rid of it, build a new one, and crash it in the ocean in the year 2030. And they've got this dead spot out there in the South Pacific called Point Nemo, which is like a spacecraft graveyard where they try to crash everything. But the thing that's most disappointing, NASA said that they have no plans to return any artifacts from the space station to Earth to put in museums. Now, I believe that in Cleveland at the airport, there's the John Glenn Space Center, and there's artifacts there. I know I've been to a museum. I've seen space capsules and space suits, which I think are really interesting.
Yep.
And help you better understand what goes on in outer space. So it's just disappointing to me that they're not going to bring any of that stuff back. So I thought they should at least let the astronauts pick one thing out of the space station to bring back. And I was trying to figure out what the thing would be. And my guess, if I were an astronaut, I would pick the toilet, because they've had so much trouble with the space toilets over the years. I would bring that sucker back, bring it down to Earth, stick it out in the field, and blow it up.
You can vent your frustration that way.
There you go. I think that they would enjoy that.
Absolutely.
I think they would. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this was the Winter Olympics. The closing ceremony was this Sunday. Did you watch any of the Olympics, by the way, Karen?
No.
No, not. I know John watched. I'm sure you watched quite a bit. What was your favorite sport this year, John?
That's a good question. The ladies hockey was pretty interesting in the beginning, but then the U.S. team, didn't really fare too well. Some of the biathlon, I thought, even though it's kind of a slow sport, but it's really challenging for those individuals, right? I mean, they're doing the cross country skiing, they're doing the shooting, and then they're doing skating, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I also was hoping that the U.S. would have fared a little better, but they didn't. Well, again, they did better than the previous Winter Olympics.
Right.
Yeah, the pageantry. We all watched I didn't see the closing ceremony. I watched the opening ceremonies. That's kind of interesting when the countries, with their flag and everything. I think it's all right.
I always like when it's just one poor little guy.
Right. Sure.
Carrying a flag
in the country. Right. Yeah.
The guy from like the Jamaican bobsled is the monobob guy. Yeah. It's just him. There's no mountains in Jamaica, but I'm here.
That's right. Oh, boy.
Well, one of my favorite sports is cross country skiing, and there was a quick interesting story. about cross-country skiing. The guy, I don't think he was a medalist, but one of the cross-country skiers, after the race was over, mentioned that his penis froze during the event. Now, this was the long distance, a 30-kilometer cross-country ski. So that's a long way. That's a marathon almost. That's 24 miles. Not just once, but twice his. Yeah. So what do you do? I'm thinking, what do you do if you realize that your your thing froze, just freezing while you're skiing? Do you pull off to the side? Do you shove your hand down your pants? I'm thinking, as soon as he does that, somebody in the stands is going to say, "Hey, look, Rudy Giuliani is a cross-country skier."
Oh my gosh! Oh,
there you go. So I apologize. I say we don't talk politics, but the movie that he did that in was not a political movie. So the sport I wish they would have had, John, I was thinking of you when I was watching some of the really speedy stuff down the ice chute, was ski walking.
Yeah, sure we did that. Yeah, we did that one. Oh yeah.
There's a sport. We had that for those of you listening. Go back to some of our older podcasts. A couple weeks ago, we had a segment on. John talked about ski walking, and it's just what you think it is. It's or was it sled walking? Anyways, you put your butt in a wok, one of those giant skillets. Yeah, for stir frying, and you get on a hill and you slide down on your butt. Wouldn't that be a great Olympic sport? Even better. Ski walk, jumping.
I think it would be fun at any age to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, fun at any age.
Exactly. So I want to mention ETs in Washington. There was a Senate hearing this week. You think people in Washington have better things to do? The nominee for Inspector General of the Department of Defense. So this is a high-powered position. He said that if confirmed during this hearing, he says he will follow through with current efforts involved in the comprehensive assessment of UFOs. So in the middle of a Senate hearing, totally unprompted, he says, "Oh, by the way, I will make sure that we continue to assess UFOs if I'm appointed as Inspector General of the Department of Defense."
It doesn't seem like the right spot and right place, right? I mean,
no, the world has changed. Yeah, the world has really changed. Really. Exactly. So this may be part of his job. Who knows? This may be part of his job. I was checking, but the one thing that the president still gets to do, if we get invaded, the president still gets to look up and say, "Hey, you ETs, get off my planet." Or we could let Harrison Ford do it. I think he'd probably.
Air Force One, yeah. Well. Very good.
All right, I want to talk about this giant stick insect giant walking stick. Those are the coolest insects, by the way. Have you ever seen any of those, Karen or John?
Yeah.
Giant walking stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
They're about a foot long. So someone brought this stick to the Natural History Museum in London. A pet giant walking stick. It's the first reported gynandromorph, which is a species that is half male and half female. And the way you could tell with this stick, and this is no joke, half of the body was the green body of a female, but it had brown wings, which made it the other half a male. So it was green on one side and had brown wings on the other, and that made it this half male and half female. Which, I mean, I was thinking, maybe it's cool, maybe it's a tough life because, you go to bed all by yourself, and next thing you know, the two sides of your body are fighting over whether it's too hot or too cold.
Fighting for a blanket. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I saw this news item this week. You remember the DeLorean?
Sure.
The famous car from Back to the Future.
Yep.
Believe it or not, it's still in business. The new DeLorean Motor Company announced this last week that it's bringing back the classic gull-wing car, just like the old one, except it's going to be an electric vehicle called the DeLorean Evolved. So an electric DeLorean, which I think would be great. But of course, the poor electric companies, the car's not available yet. People are already calling the electric company because they want to buy one, and they want power in their garage to they can charge to 1.2 gigawatts, which has nothing to do with the DeLorean. That has to do with reaching the future and Back to the Future.
Right, that's
But
right.
I think that'd be a cool thing to do with old cars. Bring back old cars and replace the old gasoline polluting engines with battery engines. I think that would be great, especially the little cars. I had a Beetle when I was in college, as a matter of fact. And also,
Sure, I do.
that'd be a fun car to have electrified, or a Le Car. Remember the Le Car, the French?
Oh yeah,
French car, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a joke for that. I just thought I was reminiscing. I thought those would be fun cars to have as an electric car. Now, I want to talk about the doghouse. This is the wildest story. So this happened in Costa Rica, in just last year, 2019. I'm sorry, 2019. The couple has a German Shepherd. His name is Roky. I think the name on the doghouse was handwritten ROKY. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't misspell Rocky, and they actually named the dog Roky. So little Roky, big Roky, he's a German Shepherd, is laying out in his doghouse one day in April of 2019. And all of a sudden, a meteor shower hit Costa Rica, showed up on all the meteor records. And one piece crashed through the roof of Roky's doghouse, barely missing him. So it crashed through the roof and it hit the floor. And then he, of course, hit the ground running and ran out and barked until somebody came out to do something about this. So it apparently had destroyed the floor, but it left the hole in the roof. So the owner did what any good owner would do. They decided they're going to sell it. They're going to sell the doghouse because they think somebody ought to buy this. Believe it or not, Christie's auction house, the biggest auction house in the world, is selling the doghouse and the little chunk of meteorite. So that's where the story came in. It's now a 2022 story. It's up for auction right now. So the doghouse, you can Google doghouse hit by meteorite and you'll see a picture of it. There was a 7-inch hole in the roof, and it's a tin roof. Destroyed the floor, but so they put another pressed wood floor in. The handwritten, it says house and Roky on it, and there's a big R on the front. So, if the dog can't spell his whole name, he at least knows that that's his house. So how much would you pay for a doghouse that got hit by a meteorite?
Depends how much I could sell it for after I bought it.
Well, very good.
There you go. It's up for sale. Okay, so Christie's to entice people made some comparisons. So, for example, in their records, they have sold, believe it or not, a mailbox that from Claxton, Georgia, that was hit by a meteor. It sold in 2007. A mailbox hit by a meteor sold for $83,000.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay.
It gets better. A Chevy Malibu in Peekskill, New York, 1992, was hit by a piece of a meteor, sold 1 week later for $69,000. And that owner sold it in 2010 for $230,000. The estimated price on asking price for Roky's doghouse is $300,000 for a doghouse hit by a meteorite.
Well, and that ain't
it. John, you can get in on this. The last time I looked, the bid was only $1,600. So there's still time. You might be able to get it for less than $300,000.
Wow.
The asteroid, the meteorite, which is just a little chunk of rock, is also for sale in the doghouse, in the meteorite section of the auction. And that's valued at $60,000. So that's what they're hoping to get, $60,000 for the meteorite. So the package, if you wanted to buy it, $360,000. I hope Rocky's still alive. I hope they give him a percentage of this. Get him a nice new doghouse. Get him some good treats, a steak, something to that effect. But this whole thing sounds like something that would have happened to Snoopy in the Peanuts comic.
Right, sure. That would be appropriate.
Exactly. Asleep on the top of his doghouse, a meteorite hit. He goes to try to convince Charlie Brown that a meteorite hit. Charlie Brown, obviously, he never knows what to sell anything for. Exactly. In the meantime, the little Woodstock bird is flying around upside down above all of them. Well, I thought that was interesting. A doghouse hit by $100,000. Now, I never made a doghouse or bought a doghouse for any of my dogs, but I might reconsider it if I could get that kind of money. Go out at night.
Palace. It's like a palace for the dog. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think anybody would believe if I'm standing out there throwing rocks at the roof. I don't think they'd believe that it got hit by a meteorite.
No, I don't think so.
So, anyways, all right. Well, I think that it's about time here for What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. Now, normally, during What in the World of Sports, we like to have a weird sport. I asked John to find something that we may have played when in our younger days, or some weird sport from around the world that people haven't heard of. But we're changing things around this week. So, John, I'm just going to let you let us know why we're changing things around and what kind of sports we're talking about. So take it away.
Well, thank you, Paul. Yeah, we wanted to just change it up this week and come up with a little bit of a different format. And so we have an interesting connection because in Cleveland, the NBA All-Star Game took place on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And one of the highlights was the Celebrity All-Star Game, where a number of celebrities showed that they do have actually pretty good basketball skills.
Yeah, yeah.
For example, the rapper Machine Gun Kelly, who was from Cleveland,
yeah, he
showed that he had some props.
I watched the game. That was my favorite part of the weekend. He's got some moves. Yeah, he actually, speaking of Cleveland people, he actually stood up to Myles Garrett. But Machine Gun Kelly's a tall guy, but very, very thin. And whereas Myles Garrett is as wide as he is tall. That man he's not natural there. So he did some slam dunk. The mayor of Cleveland is a good baller. Yeah, he played pretty well.
He showed he could play, sure.
So there's some celebrities who are good ballers, I guess is what you're saying.
And we took it a step further. So we put together our own celebrity basketball team.
Ah, yes.
With some of these celebrities who played in college that you may never knew actually did.
In college, okay. Well, you got to be good to play in college. Okay.
Yes, you do. So first up, John Krasinski.
Oh, yeah, from The Office. Yeah.
He plays Jim on The Office.
Yeah.
He played basketball in high school, and he also played in college at Brown University.
University.
Played at Brown, the Ivy League, yes.
Ivy League school,
it wasn't for him, and he switched his focus to acting because he could make more money. So
probably. Yeah. Nobody gets drafted from Brown, I don't think.
No. Now, this next celebrity, I think, will really surprise a lot of people. Bob Barker. He is the 98-year-old longtime host of The Price is Right. He earned an athletic scholarship and played basketball for 2 years at Drury University in Springfield, Missouri, before he left school to join the Navy during World War II.
Wow.
Now, who would have thought that Bob Barker, he's kind of a taller guy, right?
He's a tall guy, yeah, and he always looked pretty fit.
Sure.
But college, he actually got a scholarship.
He got a scholarship. Now, Jason Sudeikis, who is a pretty funny actor, I think he's got some ability. He's the star of Ted Lasso.
Popular
and
show.
Of course, he started on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
But he attended Fort Scott Community College in Kansas on a basketball scholarship before he decided to drop out and also pursue acting.
Yeah, I think I've seen him in a couple of celebrity basketball games. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a pretty good. He's still young enough that he can keep up with.
Yes, absolutely. Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Many movies and of course Blue Bloods. Okay, he graduated from Grant High School in L.A. in 1962, and then he enrolled in Los Angeles Valley College. Now Selleck is 6'4".
Wow.
He then transferred to USC, University of Southern California, during his junior year to play for the Trojans basketball team, and he played there for 2 years. And so again, USC produces a fair number of pros.
Yeah.
In fact, USC is the school that Cavs rookie Evan Mobley attended. And
he was at the All-Star game. Yeah.
Cleveland Cavalier fans, Evan Mobley is an up-and-coming star. So where's the connection?
Tom Selleck. So he played in, like, let's say 1962, 1963, 64. He's 6'4". So back then he would have been certainly a forward.
Oh, he would have to be. Yes, I mean, sure.
Yeah,
right.
Probably could have filled in as center.
Sure.
Back in those days.
Oh, no kidding.
6'4" and good looking. He probably had the best mustache on the team.
Oh yeah, it's unique. Now, one of my all-time favorite actors.
Oh.
Denzel Washington.
Oh, Denzel? Really?
Denzel is an outstanding actor. I'm just taking a side here. He's a terrific actor, but he earned an undergraduate degree in drama and journalism from Fordham University. He played basketball as a guard for the legendary college and NBA coach PJ Carlesimo.
Oh wow!
I did not know until I did my research.
Yeah,
he actually played there. So
Fordham. Now that's not an Ivy League school, but that. Or is it?
No, it's a New Jersey. Believe it's in New Jersey. I believe.
Jersey, okay. Yeah.
At the Jesuit College, that's
a pretty good basketball school.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. So anyway, but
Denzel, I can see that.
Now we'd have to say though, in our opinion, the best celebrity basketball player is Robin Roberts.
Robin
Roberts, okay, as the anchor of ABC Good Morning America. And she's also a former sportscaster.
Yeah.
So it turns out Robin Roberts played basketball and tennis at Pass Christian High School in Mississippi. She was offered a scholarship to play basketball at Louisiana State.
At Louisiana State?
LSU, wow. But she thought the school was too big and too impersonal. She felt it would not be the college experience that she wanted.
Yeah.
So on her way home, she saw a sign for Southeastern Louisiana University, stopped there, and then eventually enrolled in school there.
Okay.
Now, the only scholarship that was left was a tennis scholarship.
Which she also played.
And she went on to become a standout performer on the women's basketball team. She ended her career as the school's third all-time leading scorer with 1,446 points and rebounder. She had 1,034 rebounds.
Wow.
Now, she's only one of 3 Lady Lions to score 1,000 career points and grab 1,000 career rebounds. And if you think about that, that's really a feat.
1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. Wow.
Exactly. Now, during her senior season, she averaged a career-high 27.6 points per game.
Wow.
She had some game. Okay, she could shoot with the best of them. Now, the school retired Roberts' jersey, which is number 21, and in 2021, she was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, which I had no doubt of as well.
Really? She's in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
How tall is? I wonder how tall. I never paid close.
I'm not sure. I'm not certain. Right.
See how tall she is.
Yeah.
And did you give it a year? No, I don't see a year. I wonder.
No, because I don't have the year when she.
It must have been before the WNBA.
I would think so.
Form.
Yeah. The WNBA has been around 20 years, maybe 25 years.
At least. Yeah.
Robin Roberts is 5 foot 10 inches tall.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. So that's a good size.
That's
for
size for a lady.
the earlier
Yeah.
years of women's basketball. Wow.
Yeah.
How old is she, Karen?
61.
Oh,
61. Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah, she would have been close. She would have been close. Not quite, probably just a little too old to play in the NBA. Wow. 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 That was interesting.
So, in closing, folks, I am not sure that Bob Barker could do much on the floor at age 98, but he would be a big help signing players to contracts. After all, he knows which price is right.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think
Wow.
very good.
Oh,
Even Bigfoot like that one.
Yeah, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that was a fun story to do. It really was. It was.
Bob Barker. Wow, that's a shot. Besides Robin Roberts, I just never would have expected that. Some of those others, Tom Selleck, you could see he's a jockey kind of actor.
Yeah, he's kind of sure.
Denzel,
Right, sure.
Wow, great story, John. Thank you very much for that information.
You're very welcome.
Always interesting. What in the world of sports? So another good reason to tune into What in the World with all of us here. So, but the best reason is that at the end of every show we play everybody's favorite weird news game, Bluff, the co-host. Rules are simple. The stories are similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One big exception, and that is that all the other stories we talked about are real. One or more of these stories may be a bluff, and it's up to Karen and John and you listening on the podcast to figure out which ones they are. Wagering is allowed. We have approval from the Nevada Commission, so place your bet. That's right, Karen. I talked to the commissioner, and he said, we got a line on
for everything. There's commissions for everything.
Yeah, we got a line on Bluff the co-host.
Well, there's some commissioners I think we should get rid of, but that's another story.
Okay. So anyway, so let's get right to it with Bluff the co-host. Hands on the buzzers, John and Karen. Here comes story number one. A former Chuck E. Cheese restaurant in Illinois is bringing some of its old customers back, but not for bad pizza, loud music, and money-sucking games. A non-denominational minister has converted the old Chuck E. Cheese into Church E. Cheese and is holding services there every Sunday that he claims are attracting a lot of adults who celebrated birthdays there as kids. The crawl tubes and the ball pits are out, but he kept the pizza ovens and bakes bread whenever he preaches about the loaves and fishes and other appropriate Bible stories. The whack-a-mole arcade game has been converted to a whack-a-devil game, but most of the video games are just there for accepting donations. The animatronic Chuck E. Cheese is gone, but the pastor promised his flock he'll preach in a mouse costume if they reach their fundraising goals. So, the Chuck E. Cheese in Illinois that is now a Church E. Cheese church with services every Sunday. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, I really want this to be a bluff because I think it just sounds pretty obnoxious, but I think it's real.
Oh, Karen says it's real, but even though it's too obnoxious, it's real. Okay, so Karen says it's real. John, how about you?
Well, I'll tell you, until that last part about the owner dressing up in a mouse costume, I was thinking that it was plausible, it was believable. But the fact that he's going to appear in a mouse costume and he's going to be the head of the congregation, I'm going to say I would say it's false. I would say.
Oh, okay. So John says it's a bluff because of the mouse costume.
Yes.
Karen says it's real, despite of the fact that she doesn't want it to be real. All right, let's check with the judges. And the judges say, congratulations, John, that is a bluff. There's no such thing as Church E. Cheese.
Okay.
You can sleep better tonight, Karen.
Yes,
Although I thought it was a good idea. You got to get the kids back to church any way you can. Why not?
Yes, I don't think it's a bad motive. I mean, I think it's a good motive. It was just the mouse costume kind of killed it.
I'm going to talk to the pastor of my church. I think I might be able to convince him to do
Oh
something.
boy, good luck on that one.
Anyways, okay, so the score's 1-0. John in the lead. Let's move right to story number 2. You've seen plenty of football players wearing hair extensions that stick out of the backs of their helmets and sometimes down their backs. Well, those are so 2021. A Kickstarter is crowdfunding investors for Brow Weave, a hair extender for eyebrows that sticks out of the front of the helmet and acts as a natural sun visor. No more black streaks under the eyes. Fashionable football players will have short, stiff extensions woven into their eyebrows before games for the look that says, I'm cool, and I can see the ball in bright sunlight too. The NFL has approved the brow weave, and referees say they will call face mask penalties on any opposing player who grabs them. And yes, Odell Beckham Jr., the brow weaves come in a variety of hot neon colors. All right, John, Mr. Sports, the brow weave to keep the sun out of football players' eyes. What do you say, real or bluff?
Boy, I'd like to believe it's true, but this has got to be false because how can a player see? I mean, you're talking about, okay, these eyebrow extenders. I mean, how's he going to be able to see if he has to look up? I'm going to say it's going to be false.
It's like when he goes like this, like a
Yeah,
bill
right.
on a baseball
In
cap.
the middle of the play, Paul.
No, but fashionable, football players like to be fashionable.
I mean, sure. I mean, you got to be styling and profiling. I get that, but I'm going to say it's
okay.
It's a bluff.
All right. So John says that the brow weave is a bluff. Karen, how about you?
I agree with John.
Oh,
It's a bluff.
big football fan that you are. You both say that the brow weave is a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, congratulations to both of you. You're right. That was a bluff.
Yes.
All right. Way to go, Karen. Very good.
Okay.
I think it could sell. I'm going to investigate a little.
Anything's
Okay.
possible. Who knows? In the next year or so, maybe that's going to be around. Who knows?
The next big thing. You heard it here first on What in the World. Okay, so let's see. That means the score's 2-1. John is in the lead.
Yes.
Amazing lead here
But
today.
he can't rest on his laurels or on his ski walk.
He's been practicing.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, I've been working hard. I've been working diligently.
Well, look out, John. Points are doubled in round number 3, so Karen could conceivably scoot ahead. So let's get right to it with story number 3. Your dog may have no trouble humping legs, human, table, or otherwise, but that doesn't mean he couldn't use some Viagra. No, not for that. Veterinarians have discovered that generic Viagra is helpful in treating dogs who have a rare eating disorder that causes an enlarged esophagus, which makes it difficult to control food reaching their stomachs. In dogs, the Viagra works in reverse by shrinking the esophagus so that it can regulate the gravy train that it chugs down, so it chugs down the tunnel slowly instead of charging like a runaway locomotive. Dog owners say that the doggy Viagra works great. Their pooches eat normally, and they're gaining weight, and they've noticed no increase in the amount of leg humping. Veterinarians still warn not to give your dog people Viagra because the dosage is wrong and your husband will be mad. Okay. So, Viagra for dogs to treat not that problem, but an eating disorder, and it actually works. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
My God, who came up with this? I know who came up with it. I think it's a bluff.
Karen says it's a bluff. Okay. I know Karen's not a dog owner. And I'm not going to ask any personal questions about Viagra. I'll ask John those.
Hey, watch that.
So Karen says it's a bluff. What do you say, John?
I'm going to say it's a bluff too, because how did it even get started? If that Karen just said that, how would you try to have like a trial that a dog or any animal would have a human medicine, and it would be in the reverse? It would have a different, an opposite effect. It's got to be a bluff. It's got to be a Bluff.
Okay, so John says it's a Bluff too. How would it happen? Not from personal experience, but you could.
I'm glad to hear that, Paul. By the way, glad to hear that.
You could be throwing the Viagra up in the air and catching it in your mouth as a little maybe foreplay game. And you miss, and the dog picks it up off the ground.
Possible. That's a possibility. Sure.
There you go. You're always thinking here. I heard that. I didn't, and that's not, again, not personal experience. Okay, so both of you say that it's a bluff, that if you give a dog Viagra, it will treat as eating disorder. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say, boy, you're going to be disappointed. That's a true story.
Oh my gosh.
Really do, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
This is.
If you recall, Viagra, if I remember correctly, isn't that the one that's supposed to help cure baldness? They test a lot of drugs. That were, oh no, it's for blood pressure. That's what it was.
Okay,
yes. Yeah, they test drugs that have that are used for different things to see what else they might treat. So that's how they found out. It had nothing to do with popping Viagra's up in the air and catching them out.
Okay.
I'm curious as to what part of the market, like the dogs play in Viagra sales.
Oh, I don't know. I'll do some research on that, and we'll talk about that next week on What in the World. So,
all right, give us something else to look up. Very good.
There you go. Good question, John. We will do some research on that. So yes, that's true. We have come to the end of another episode of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. I want to thank everyone who's out there listening, watching us on YouTube. Thank you. Please follow us, like us, do whatever it is that you're doing on the platform that you're at, so that we know that you're out there. Follow me on Facebook. I'd always be interested in seeing you. If you're watching the show live, you're allowed to send in messages, if I'm not mistaken, Karen. So
yep, I've been reading them all day.
Yeah, so we get all that kind of stuff. So I want to thank my old friend John DiNallo, co-host and host of One in the World of Sports. Thanks again for all your contributions.
Thank you, Paul. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, and as always, I want to thank Karen Hale, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Please go to newclevelandradio.net, download What in the World. It's free. Then go and listen to some of the other great podcasts that she has on the platform. Something for everybody, and that is guaranteed. And on that note, we will see you next week. Next week we will be in a new month. So let's see what the new month brings us. March comes in like a lion. I hope it doesn't come in like a lion.
No,
I hope it comes in like March.
Very nicely. And with that, everybody have a great day.